So we're here today with Sheikh Ghassan Manasra and David Less, co-founder of the Abrahamic Reunion and international director of the Abrahamic Reunion, talking about the recent multi-faith Iftar events that the Abrahamic Reunion produced and organized in Israel, in the Holy Land. There were 3 Iftars during Ramadan, a Ramadan which was cast under the light of war in Gaza and Israel, and violence throughout the region. These Iftars brought people together from across the country, Muslims, Jews, Christians, and Druze, from all across Israel and East Jerusalem, to gather during this holy month for the Muslims, eat, sit, dialogue, and reconnect after months and months of war and separation. So, these Iftars were very successful. Hundreds of people attended them, and there was even music at one of these events. So, I hope that's enough introduction. And Sheikh Ghassan, would you like to tell us a little bit about these Iftars and what was the importance of holding the Iftars at this time in the Holy Land?
Yes, thank you, Chris. It's a very important question, and especially to explain to the people about these Iftars. First of all, the people think that the Iftars, it's to break the fast, to eat and to taste the food and so on. It's great. It's a great dimension to taste the food. But the most important thing is to taste the meaning of the meeting, to taste the meaning of the gathering together. Sometimes you need to create some meeting between the people. They can come, they can talk, and they can do the best. But the human being try to initiate a different kind of meetings. They need to attract the people. They need to create a very special ways for the people to go. Now, we call the meeting Iftar. Part of other meetings, holidays. Part of meetings, other meetings, we call them, for example, wedding, And in each meeting, you will prepare food. You will prepare something to to active all of your human being unit. Your taste, your thinking, your mind, your feelings, everything together. Now, in the holiday of Ramadan, this is a month of fasting, for the Muslims. By the way, the fasting, it's not only for the Muslims, for all of the religions. Before Islam, it's Christianity. For Christianity, it's Judaism. But the most important thing is to bring the people together to say we have breaking the fast together. Now, who will break the fast? The Muslims, right? It's the time of celebrating now the other religions, sharing them their happiness of celebration, to celebrate together. Now, with these things, we need to put the cherries on the top of the cookies, right? Then we can talk. We can active our tools as human beings, talking together, thinking together, connecting together. And the most important thing is to bring these people during a very specific time. And we know this time was the time of the war. And imagine that we came, all of us, to be together and to break the fast together, to talk together and to feel one another.
If I may add a few things that I've observed. Israel, both the Muslims and the Jews and the Christians and the Druze, or all of them, it's a very oral culture. So we had approximately 250 people at the breaking of the fast, at the Iftar of the 4 faiths. But I'm sure that news of this event went out to thousands and thousands of people. And it was a time when everybody at some point, including me, wanted to cancel. Because no, it's too dangerous to bring everybody together. It's an obvious target. No organization was doing anything like this during the war. And fortunately, my dear friend Ghassan said, no, it's important that we do this now. So we did it, and word got out, and now everybody, really after the iftar, especially the big one, everybody was speaking, saying, oh, you were the only ones who did something. So what's the effect of it? Well, people were and are on all sides quite traumatized. And Chris mentioned we brought people from East Jerusalem. People watching this might not realize East Jerusalem is where Palestinian Arabs live in Jerusalem, predominantly. And so even though they're in the same city, there was no interaction between Arabs and Muslim Arabs and Jews. And this iftar was symbolic, and the iftar was in a Jewish part of Jerusalem. And here, I think there were 35 or 40 from East Jerusalem. 75 from East Jerusalem, Palestinians coming with Palestinian dress into a Jewish area. We partnered with the lovely Hartman Institute to do the iftar. And all of Jerusalem saw this. And the visual impact of Muslims and Jews and Christians and Druze being together, the whole community was aware of it. So did it stop the war? Anything that promotes a possibility of peaceful coexistence stops the war. Yes. So it did its part, and the three iftars did their part.
Thank you, Shahuddin. Exactly. I want to say something. I think when the people agreed to come, it wasn't easy. I want to say many people try. Many organizations try to go to East Jerusalem, to go to West Jerusalem, to talk with the Muslims, the Christians, the Druze, and the Jewish. I can say, and I witnessed for that, big part of them, they refused to be in connection. But when Abrahamic Reunion went to talk to these people, I remember part of the people said to me, oh, Sheikh Ghassan, we trust you all because you did the best along these years for all of us. And you were very clean and very unique, very straight and very righteous people. You brought us without your own interest. You took care for the common interest of all of the people together. Now, as Shahabuddin mentioned, the city of Jerusalem began to speak about the meeting of the Muslims, Christians, Druze, and Jews together. Also, all of the country began to talk. And we received, in Abrahamic Reunion, many feedbacks from the high level of the leaders in Israel until the grassroots. By the way, the mayor of the municipality of Jerusalem, he was with us. Other politicians, they were with us. By the way, I can say that all of the parties, or most of the parties in Israel, they used to be with us, and they came to be with us, and they broke the fast with us, Shahabuddin. Now, Shahabuddin say a very important thing. You can invite 100, 200, 300 people to come to celebrate together, right? These 300 people, they are representatives of thousands of people in their neighborhoods and their cities, their villages, and so on in Israel. We didn't invite only 300 people. We invited thousands of people because I received calls from many people. They weren't in the iftar, and they say, Ghassan, yishar koach, ya'tik al-afiyeh. Good job, well done. You know why? Because they heard about the top and the high level of the meeting. Now, I want to say that the most important thing, it's not because we need to break the fast together. Yeah. Because we eat, right? We can put inside the mouth some food. This food will get inside, but also many things can get out of your mouth. Talking. The thinking will come to your tongue. The mind will come to your tongue. The emotional side will come to your tongue. Everything will come to your tongue. And the people listen to the music there through their tongues. The people listen to the speeches through their tongues, to the classes, take studies through your tongues. This is the mouth of the world. I think this is the mouth, the revelation of God, to talk together, to come, to hug one another, and to see one another. I want to say in the end of each iftar from the 3 iftars that we did, and I can say only us, Abrahamic Reunion, we did this iftars this year during the war in the Holy Land. In the end of the iftars, I saw many people with their tears.
We gave hope. We really gave a living example of what could be.
Yes.
And it reminded people of what could be, because people forget during war.
Yeah.
They're just so traumatized, so interested in survival, that they forget that the other is just like them.
Mm-hmm.
The people in East Jerusalem are just as worried as the people in West Jerusalem. And when there's violence to all. So really, the iftar was for people in the West Bank, people in Gaza, people in Israel. Even though it was in Jerusalem, it was for all the people. And I want to just mention something that Sheikh Ghassan said. The iftar was not just the meals. Before the ceremony, before the huge gathering together, there was a class of text study. What is it? Well, simply one text that is common to Jews, Muslims, and Christians, and just reminding people, hey, we all come from the same source. It's like when people talk to me about anti-Semitism, and they say, well, the Muslims are anti-Semites. I said, they can't be. They're Semites. So how could they be anti-Semites? You know, this unique group of people in the Middle East have so much in common, and yet choose to focus on differences for political reasons. And we in the Abrahamic Reunion remind people of that the other is really themselves. What we saw on all sides was a breakdown of ethics. Morality disappeared. I can kill anybody I want. And it takes a visionary to remind people, no, you are an ethical being. The visionary doesn't have to be one person. It's not Ghassan, it's not Chris, it's not me, it's all of us. And the Abrahamic Reunion, bringing together the children of Abraham, reminds people about the ethics of their own being, what's accepted and what's not. And I know that Ghassan had some exchanges with some political people, doesn't matter who, and he reminded them, no, you can't lie. You have to be straight. You have to tell the truth. That's what makes peace. And it's good to remind people. So we as an organization did that.
Yes.